Welcome. My name is Mark Andrek. I'm working for the Customer Experience Group at SAP. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to use SubRiver RDE to extend a Fiori application. And we are going to take the purchase order approval for this. And these are the steps that we will go through in this video. So we will start creating a new extension project in SubRiver RDE. We will select the purchase order approval app, which is deployed on a sub gateway system. We will extend the app by first hiding an existing control. Then we will add a new field to an extension point. We will extend then the app by replacing one of the views. We will replace the OData service by an extended OData service. So we are assuming that a new OData service has been created by extending the standard OData service and by having a new field in this new OData service. Then I will also show how to extend the data model using the EDMX editor in SubRiver RDE and add a reference to this new data property in the UI logic. We will run the application with mock data to show that the changes we have made are displayed on the application. And at the end, we will deploy this extended Fiori application back to the ABAP repository. And to verify that it is deployed successfully, we will import it back to our environment and run the application. So let's get started. I have already launched my browser. I'm accessing a SubRiver OData system in our environment. It is a demo system. And you can see here on the left side, I have already some projects in my environment. And we will now create a new project. And as we are extending a Fiori application, we will create an extension project. So let's start here. Now the first step is to access the sub-gateway system to get access and to define which Fiori application we want to extend. So we press on remote and we select one of the gateway systems that are available here. So I'm going to take this GM0 ABAP system. Now he's fetching all the available Fiori applications on that system. You see there are already some or even many applications in here. And as we want to extend the purchase order approval app, let's look for purchase. So here we are. And this is the app I would like to extend, the approved purchase orders. So let's select it and continue. The wizard is proposing a name. Let's change this to my purchase order approval app. And you can see he's validating the name. The name has to be unique in my environment. Good, let's go to the next step. And the next step is about finishing this creation. Now he's automatically now launching what we call the extensibility pane. So in fact, the application is started here, and it is fetching data from the backend system. In fact, you can see here the application is fully running. I can scroll down here. I can look at some notes, go back to purchase order information. Down here I have the item list of the purchase order. If I click on it, I get to the next view, get some general information here, account assignment. Down here I have pricing conditions. Now let's do the following. The first extension that I would like to do is I would like to get to hide this pricing conditions. Now this extensibility pane is helping me. If I go to extensibility mode, click on here, you see that now when I hover over these controls, they get highlighted. And in fact, I could select any of these controls. The header material on the right side, in fact, you have the outline of the application, and you see that he's telling me which element is highlighted. So here I have my header material. I can even within this header material select a single field in here like this. But now let's select this pricing condition. We want to get rid of this pricing condition down here. Okay. You can see here the possible extensions that we can do with this control. So we can hide this control. So either we could, and that's the only thing we can do here, of course. We could say, okay, here we could also right-click on here and hide the control, or even right-click directly on the application and say hide control. So let's do that. And see here, we get a success message. And pressing yes, I can immediately refresh the application so that the application is going to hide this pricing condition. So let's look at this. Just pressing yes, the application is reloaded. Let's go back to our, and you see here, there's no pricing condition anymore. In fact, on the right side here, you can see that he's indicating us pricing condition table is hidden. I could, for example, also select only the extended deal elements on this side, and of course we only have this single element that we have just hidden. So that's one possibility of extending a Fiori application. I would like to show you this slide. This explains a little bit the extensibility concept on the UI side. Every Fiori application is following the MVC paradigm, so the model view controllers. The model is defined by the OData service, and on the UI side we have then the views and controllers. Normally there's always a pair of a view and a controller. The view is defining the UI itself, and the controller is defining the functions that can be applied on this view. The extensibility possibilities that we have on the view are the following. We can extend the view, and extending a view means that in the standard Fiori application there are different extension points, something like a user exit. So that allows us to implement at specific points in the application additional code. For example, we can add a field, we can add a button, and so on. And another possibility is view modification. This is mainly hiding a control. That's what we have just seen. And the third possibility is to replace a complete standard view. And on the controller side, we can extend a controller, which means that we can add functionality. And if we can even override standard functionality by using the same function name. And at runtime, the standard functions plus our custom functions will be merged into one single function list. But let's look at the views now. So we have seen how to hide a control, and let's look at how to extend a view. Okay, let's select all extensible elements. This is helping us here. And what I would like to do is I would like to go here to this master list. This master list is this S2 list. And let's go to the extensibility mode. And when I press on S2, you see that it is in fact really highlighting here my master list. And I can also select the different controls down here. Again, I could take this one here, for example, and hide it if I want. You see that there are different controls here, but I can also take this one here. So this is an extension point which has been defined in the standard application. Down here you see that the extension possibility is in fact extending a view. So I could press OK here, or again I can press my right button and choose extend the view here. So let's do that. And as I get again a success message. In this state, I don't need to refresh the application because we are not finished yet. We have just defined that we want to extend this extension point, but now we need to add some code. So let's go to the extension code. Okay, and when I open my application, you see, so this is my application. In fact, this is the extension project. If I open my view, I see here that I have already this fragment. This has just been created because I have told him I want to extend an extension point. So he's creating me this file, and now I can add code in here. So I want to do something very simple. I'm just going to add a purchase order field in here. So let's do it this way. So I'm adding an attribute here. I'm going to put a text that contains a label and a value in here. So this is my purchase order number. This data is going to come from the OData service. And down here I have a label, and you can see here I18N, which stands for internationalization. So I want to have here a label which is able to put in here the text depending on the language that is selected. You can see that the file has a star, so we need to save this file. Now it is saved. And we can now run the application again. I'm going to run it in this extensibility pane. And here we are. So we have now this field, purchase order. We have the number which comes from the backend system. You can see it down here also. And you can see I have taken the number which is also in the detail, so to verify that we are getting the right number. And because of the internationalization prefix, I could change the language up here. In fact, I'm going to do that. So let's switch to French. And you see that now all labels are in French. Commande d'achat. If I go to German, I get Bestellung. Also the other labels are, by the way, changed to the right language text. Let's go back to English. Okay. Now, the third possibility was about replacing a view. So I would like to replace this view here. Let's enlarge this maybe a little bit to see it better. So you see that currently I have this icon bar. When I click on it, different information is coming, and I would like to add two icons in here. And I'm going to do this by replacing this view here. So I'm going to select my S3 view. So you can see here, I'm going to select the complete S3 view. And now you see down here possible extensions. I have two options. One is replace with an empty view, which means that I would have to rebuild my complete view here, or I can copy the standard view from the application and then do some changes in here. So I'm going to take the second option, replace with a copy. Of course, I could also do it here, replace with a copy of the parent view. So let's do that. Again, success message. I don't need to refresh it now because I'm going to do some changes in the code. I get the indication that this has been replaced. So let's select it and let's go to the extension code. So let's get rid of this one here. He has now added this S3 custom view in my view folder. So only the extensions that I'm defining are going to put in my extension project. And so down here I see my icon tab bar, and I would like to add here my own icons. So I have prepared something here. So I'm going to take this complete code here, place it here. So I'm adding here this another icon, notes, neutral, and another one here. So I'm adding two icons. This is an attachment that I'm putting here. So I need to save this first. So let's save it. Okay. And you can see here that in this notes icon that I'm adding, I have just simply added again my purchase order with the text. So we should see the purchase order in my new icon. Good. Now let's run the application and see how that looks. So I'm going to select my index file and run the application. And here we go. We have now two additional icons. My notes with my purchase order number that I have defined, and I have here another attachment which was empty. And this way I could completely change all the XML which is in here and add or even completely change the view. Okay. Next point is, let's assume that the OData service has been extended and that a new custom OData service has been defined and is now available on the backend system. And I'm going to show you now how to use this extended OData service. To do that, I'm going to select my extension project, and I'm going to right click here and say that I want to create a new extension to this. Let's select this. Okay, so this is my app. That looks good. Let's go to the next step. Okay, here I have the possibility to select the extension I want to do. And by the way, you can all see here there's another way how to hide a control, how to extend the view, how to replace a view. This is also a possibility how to extend the controller. I could also on this side add internationalization, resource text customization, and this means that I could change the text that is provided by the standard application. Maybe some labels are not using the right terms that I would like to have, or I could add another language, a complete new language in here. But now for the moment we want to replace a service, so let's select replace a service. And I can now connect to my gateway system and see the OData services that he is providing me. So you see there's a whole list of OData services. So I'm going to look for purchase order approval. Here we are. In fact, this is the standard OData service that is used by the purchase order approval application. If I open it, I'm going down here. if I open this workflow task collection, I get the list of fields, and I just want to show you that it ends with search for text. So that's the standard one. If I go to the extended, sorry, if I'm going to the, oops, to the extended one, here, if I open it, I open workflow task collection again, and now you see there's a new field that has been defined in the gateway system. So that is the field that we're going to use, demo extension. So let's take this, this custom OData service. Okay, it's validating the metadata, that's fine. And we can now finish this process. Now, this wizard is now adding the new OData service to my project, and so the next thing I need to do, of course, is that I need to use this new OData service field. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to the extension point implementation that I had already done here, and I'm going to add this field in here. So adding another text attribute. OData extension is a label fix, and then I have here my demo extension OData service field. Okay, that looks good. So let's save this, and let's run the application again. And you can see here the field is added and the value X is coming from the backend system. So that was about replacing a OData service. Now let's go to the next step, and I'm going to close this. Assuming that we are building a new UI and the OData service also needs to be changed, I'm going to show you how I could change the metadata file at this level here, and then test my application already with the changes I've been doing in my on my SubRiver IDE. So I'm going to look for these header details, and I'm just going to do something very simple. I'm just going to add another field here. New field, and the label shall be new field. And I'm going to save this. So I have added this field in here. So now this field will be available to my application. And of course I need to define a place where I want to display this new field. So I'm going to put this in my detail view, and I have of course prepared already something here. So I'm just going to uncomment this portion of the code. So you remember our replace view. We had our notes icon that we had added. We had our purchase number here. Now I'm going to add a second field, and this field is going to be the new field that I just defined in my metadata. So let's save this. So I have again changed the second time my custom S3 view. Now to see if this is already running, and remember, assuming that the backend system and the gateway system are not ready yet, I can already test my application by running the application with mock data. So I can run with mock data, and let's go. And you see here, all this data has been generated by the system. And here I have my nodes icon and I have my additional field. So new field, this is a fixed label, and this value here has been generated by the system. Same for every purchase order, of course. So let's close all these windows. So we have seen how to change my view, how to replace the OData service, how I can on my UI side already add some fields even before when the OData service is ready. Next thing I want to show is that I'm going to deploy this application, this extended application, back to my gateway system. And I can here deploy to my ABAP repository. I could also deploy here to the HANA Cloud environment. So let's do this. So first thing, I need to define on which system I want to deploy it. So I'm going to use my gateway system GM0 again, and I'm going to deploy this as a new application. So let's do that. And purchase order app 001, for example. Let me just copy this. Extended app as a description. Package. For sake of easiness, I'm just going to take my $TMP local, and let's go to the next step. And the next step is to finish this. So when I press finish, now he's deploying this application to my ABAP repository of my GM0 system. And you see it has been deployed successfully. Of course, I could go now to my ABAP system, verify on that level, but what I can also do is to verify that it has been deployed correctly. I can import any application in my system. So let's re-import the application we have just deployed. And for this, I'm going to create a new folder. So that's my purchase order approval app import. Let's create this. Okay, it's down here. Let me just close this. And then with the right mouse, I can now import the application from the ABAP repository like this. So from where? Of course, from my GM0. And now he's looking for all these available Fiori applications that I could import. I could look here for my application, which is here, or I could look for app 01. Sorry, like this. This is the application. So let's take this. And it is already imported. And again, I can just run the application. Let's do it with mock data again. And you see it has been loading the application from the gateway system. And here we are. So this concludes this session. So just to review what we have seen, so we have extended a standard Fiori application. In fact, we have been taking purchase order approval. For this, we have we started to create a new extension project. And we have selected the purchase order approval from sub gateway. Then we did some extensions. So we have hidden a control. We have added a new UI field to an extension point. We have replaced a view and added some additional controls in the view. Then we have replaced the OData service by using another OData service. In fact, a service that has extended the standard OData service by adding one field. Then I showed you how to add a field in the metadata on the subriver RD side, assuming that on the backend side it's not done yet. Then we ran the application with mock data. We deployed then at the end the application back to the ABAP repository, and to verify the deployment we re-imported it, and we just checked that the application is running. So this concludes this video. Thank you very much and goodbye.